YouTube? Welcome back to Universe X, and today we are going to go over yet another deck that's going to be here in the set 4 meta. Now, I know a lot of people are feeling the staleness of the set 3 meta. It's no real surprise that red is dominant, and we'll do that video very soon. We got to talk about a couple things. But just gotta say, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background for this channel. Most of you guys have seen my announcement for going to New York Comic-Con as a content creator. I'm gonna be doing a whole bunch of stuff for that. And there's some stuff I can't quite talk about, but just let you guys know, it's going to hopefully lead to me going back to being a full-time content creator and really just hammering out the content for this game and others. There's just so much stuff on the horizon, and that could be its own video. So with that being said, we are going to talk about red purple Luffy from the starter deck. And I just want to say, if you guys love the content, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, think about joining, because we are almost 100 away from 5,000. That's a new milestone. We're trying to get there. So yeah, we're doing things and love to have you as part of the UniX fam. So with that being said, let's cut to the other view and let's hop into what makes this deck a meta contender. Next up. So let's actually talk about the leader first, okay? We're going to talk about this Luffy. Now, this Luffy comes out from a structure deck, starter deck. I'm gonna call them structure decks because they're not really starters. But first off, this art is insane. This is clearly like roof piece Luffy, and we are here for it. So basically what we got here is Monkey D. Luffy. He is a base 6K, and we already know how strong a base 6K is, but outside of that, he also is going to be, he's also going to be a red purple leader, which is going to right then and there kind of set the tone. Purple has been a color that has had very powerful cards, but not quite enough ways to get on the board. The deck has been kind of slow. Some of their releases have been gimmicky, but red has been the opposite of that. Very powerful. So we already know the terror of a 6K leader with red as one of its colors. Now, the thing here though is that because it's a dual color leader, it's going to have less life. But because it's a dual color leader and these combinations of colors actually add on quite a bit, Luffy has 3 life. And some people may be afraid of this. You only need to be hit 4 times to die, but this is actually going to create a very sick deck, and we're going to talk about it today. So the effect of Luffy, because you can't read this because it's in Japanese, is activate main once per turn. If you have 0 Dawn cards on your field or 8 or more Dawn cards on your field, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So what this is going to do, because very rarely are you going to be at 0 Dawn. In fact, I think that the only way you could be at 0 Dawn in your main phase is if you activate the Gear 5th Luffy that comes out in set 5, that's going to minus 10 Dawn your board. Normally, what this is going to allow you to do is refund all or half of your minus Dawn effect when you use a minus Dawn effect at 10 Dawn. So we're gonna get into all the cards that would do that. But anytime you have 10 Dawn, you play a card, tap 4, minus 1 Dawn, tap 5, minus 1 Dawn. You're gonna be able to instantaneously bring that Dawn back active. And that's actually a very strong part of purple. So yeah, let's actually get into the cards that make this deck go vroom. The next card that we are going to talk about is going to be Izo. As most of you guys know, most red decks are based in the Whitebeard archetype because the Whitebeard archetype is just so powerful. You're getting destruction and swingers in the form of 5 Marco. You're getting a blocker in the form of 4 Marco. You are going to be able to get 2Ks like Jozu, vanillas if you want them. You have access to the almighty Whitebeard card himself. And I know that in Japan, these cards are unlimited. So having cards like 4-drop Marco blocker or 9-drop Whitebeard, they're gonna mean a little bit more. But even here in the global meta, these cards are still so powerful at 1 that the Whitebeard package is just still the de facto best red package. Now moving on past that, we've got this new law that shows up in the structure deck. And this law says, sorry, I always have to look up the effects because these are not translated in these PNGs yet. He is a 4-cost blocker for 5K, so already decent stats. He can be destroyed by a lot, but the more important part is blocker on play, Dawn -1. If your opponent has 7 more cards in their hand, trash 2 cards from your opponent's hand. So basically, this is Isho's effect on a much smaller body, and we are here for that. 7 is a little bit higher of a like activation cost, but I don't think at this point we mind, considering that this is a huge effect. Like, Whitebeards will get torn apart by this. You have a lot of decks that can get caught lacking. 7 is a pretty decent sized hand, and this will take it down to 5. Now granted, because of this, you can't like use them like multiple times, but you basically get to keep your opponent's hand in a very nice space. If you are playing against Whitebeard, you will be able to use this card to trim down their hand before going for the kill. And yeah, he is just utterly amazing. Another card that they end up using is 4-drop Marco. We already talked about this. Dude's just a very, very strong card. And for a leader that has such little life, it's very important to have a sticky blocker such as this one on the board. Next, we have one of the best cards in set 1, and it's finally nice to see it being played again. This is Queen. For those of you guys that don't remember when Kaido was actually meta, Queen says blocker, Queen costs 5, and it's Dawn -1, draw 2, trash 1. So this is just great filter. We've seen more cards that do this, but it was one of the very, 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 like, few break evens in the game. I'm not even saying +1s, break evens. Technically, you're gaining a body, so if you want to count the body as this, and then you're drawing 2, trashing 1, this is one of the few +1s. Normally, a card plays itself, draw 2, trash 2, and that's for a break even or a -1 if you are looking strictly at hand advantage. So this is very, very good. Sticky block, well, not a sticky blocker, but a fat blocker that is going to actually progress your deck and set up your hand better is just why this card was always played in any purple deck. And it's also why that, this is just working its way directly back into the first moment that we have a good purple leader. So, next card we're going to talk about is 5-drop Marco. Again, people should be well acquainted with this card. Comes down, smokes a 3k or less, and then on KO you can discard an extra card, an event card, and then bring it back. So, very, very good. And then next we have the Kid from that structure deck, and it's really cool seeing these cards all get play. But this Kid just says, Eustace Captain Kid, on play when attacking, Dawn -1. You may return the specified number of Dawn, from your field to your Dawn deck. That's just for you guys that have forgotten what Dawn -1 does. And up to one of your leaders gains +1k power until the start of your next turn. So this is actually interesting because you're going to play Eustace Kid, and then your leader's going to go up to a 7k base, which is going to allow you to guard up to 9k when you play 2ks, which is amazing. And he only costs 7, so if you're at max Dawn, you're going to be able to play him. Like, you could be at a 10 Dawn, play him, go up to, you play him for 7, -1 of your Dawn, and then use your Luffy effect to bring that Dawn back. Now you have 4 open Dawn to defend yourself with your radical beams, your guard points, however, and you're also at a base 7k, which makes you incredibly hard to kill at that point. And then he's also on attack as well. So every time you turn this man sideways, you're going to be able to -1 Dawn, use Luffy's effect to get it back, and then be a 7k. And that Luffy can swing for a 7k and then still be 7k on the defense. Yeah, no, this is an excellent, excellent card, and it really does make this ironclad defense for this Luffy deck. I'm very, very excited to see this deck in action. I can't hold you on that one. So that's pretty tight. Of course, you're going to have the Whitebeard as well here, and once again, we're talking about some ironclad turns. If you already have this Eustace Kid on the board, and then you play your Whitebeard on the board, you go up to a 8k base leader, and then you swing with Eustace Kid, -1 the Dawn you used on Edward Newgate, then your leader's now 9k, and you can swing with your leader for 9k, activate your leader's effect going up to 10 Dawn again. And now you played Whitebeard, but you have 2 Dawn to defend yourself with, and you're a base 9k leader. Just skip your opponent's turn. Just do it. So like, this is just insane. Like, the synergy here is wild. Now, I'm not saying this deck is dominant. This deck really isn't like ruining the meta in Japan, it seems like, and they have 4 Whitebeards, 4 Radical Beams, 4 Marco 4s. At the end of the day, it is a 3-life leader, and there are going to be some parts of the game where your opponent is fast enough to blitz you, and then you could just die before you even get the setup. But this is just overall, it's a really fun looking deck. Now, going over into more of what we have to play with, right? We are going to go into some of the event cards. We've got Blast Breath. This deck is just, it's a 6K, so Blast Breath's going to instantly take you up to 10K, which is just a really good number to defend yourself with. We got Radical Beam, and Radical Beam over there is at 4, but over here it's at 1, so we're obviously going to play it, but this might see more copies of Blast Breath or copies of Guard Point in our decks in particular. You've got Jet Pistol, and Jet Pistol isn't in every list, but it's in a lot of lists, and really it's just going to have the ability to have some more destruction in this deck, so that you're going to be able to smoke some things off the board and, you know, take some pressure off of your life, which is important. Noted, I'm not going to go into all the cards that could, unless you guys, you know, really in the comments ask me to, but there is an extra deck version, or event card version of this deck that's running Fire Fist, you know, more like purple cards that are events, and that's going to allow you to be a lot less aggro, because between Hell's Judgment and Fire Fist, you are very much so good at not getting hit and with whittling down the board over time. Next, we're going to talk about All-Star Calamities. This is a, you know, starter deck card as well. Draw 1 card and add 1 Dawn card from your deck in active, and then if it's just triggered, you just literally use this card's main effect. So can't really rely too much on triggers in this deck, because they literally, you have 3 life. There's not a lot of cards to be put into that trigger zone, but this is a good card. You're going to be able to get up to it and then just play it and ramp up quickly, get to your kids, you know, your Whitebeards very quickly. Just good in general. Searcher, since this is a Whitebeard deck essentially, and this red side, Whitebeard Pirates is still going to be that card. Just looking at your top 5 cards for a Whitebeard card, just good in general. And yeah, that is what we are looking at. I'm going to real quick take it into the Mystic TCG portion, so you guys can see my sponsor and see the best place to start pre-ordering these packs, these boxes, these sets, and yeah, then we're gonna close up the video. So let's talk about Mystic TCG, your one-stop shop for all your TCG needs. On the site, you can buy or pre-order plenty of sealed product for plenty of games. Just make sure though, if you're pre-ordering, to give it 3 to 4 months in advance to start looking, because sometimes the product is indeed hot, supply and demand, you know. And then if you want to buy singles, go on tcgplayer.com. There's going to be a link in the description where you can buy for the best value. And if you want to sell cards or collections, you can message them on their Facebook site, so you can get the best bang for your buck on any type of way you want to buy or sell cards. And then while you're at it, you can use the code UNIXTCG at checkout to get even more of a discount. So hey, what are you waiting for? Check out Mystic TCG today. Alrighty then, so once again, that's Mystic TCG. Remember to use the code in the description in order to, you know, just see all the things you can see there. He's my dude. Like, that's best sponsor. But what I was about to say right there is, that is pretty much how this works. You guys can see a lot of the synergy. The 6K body for Luffy in general is just the most important part. We've seen how strong that is with Whitebeard. Being able to use these defensive cards to go up to 9K and 10K on the fly. Him being able to -1 Dawn but not lose any momentum once he's at max Dawn is a huge thing. And then when it comes to even beyond that, you have the ability to tear apart your opponent's hand. With Law, you have the ability to pretty much constantly boost your leader to a really hard wall to surpass. With Kid, Whitebeard's still a very potent card in this deck. There's just so much going for it, and it really makes like this sort of like triple threat kind of deck. I mean, there's destruction, there's aggression, there's draw, there's a lot. So I am excited to test out this deck myself. I am going to have a lot of fun with it. As per usual, if this video gets up to 100 views, we will immediately do some gameplay on the sim for you guys in the video. So far, none of them have gotten that far yet. If I were to check, we are currently sitting at, just want to check to see where we're at. So the Rebecca video has 71 likes. The Dofi has 72 likes. The red one, like the red video has 45 likes because nobody likes red, and the newest one, the blue yellow queen, only has 39. So I am trying to make sure that these guys get boosted. But yeah, like I said, they hit 100 likes. We do gameplay as soon as that happens. I do want to thank you guys again. We're going off. We're having a lot of good fun. These views are trending and I am so here for it. So I will see you guys in the next video. We're going to get back into doing Battle Spirits and Dragon Ball Super videos as well, but we're going to keep the One Piece flowing because it's just kind of turned into what this channel has been recognized for the most lately. So thank you guys. I will see you in the very next video. Later.